This looks so tiny. Now, truly, I don't even know how to start this. I don't know how this idea popped in my head, if you really asked me to, other than that insomnia takes over my brain anytime I try and sleep, and that's when ideas come to me, and then I stay awake because I'm like, wait, if I go to sleep, I'll forget the ideas, and I know you're thinking, oh, you could just write them down, but I sleep without my glasses because, you know, that's how most people sleep and I can't see anything. So I write it down and then it's all just gibberish in the morning. So this idea came to me last night when I was not falling asleep, where I decided that it would be fun to dissect the season 2 poster for The Summer I Turned Pretty. Now, ideally, this would be bigger, obviously, but unfortunately I am not a Kinko's. If it helps, printing this definitely transported me back to middle school days when I would print out the entire movie poster of any YA movie that was coming out that summer, and my dad would get mad at me for wasting the ink. So yeah, we're just gonna have to do our best to know that what I'm saying and who I'm saying is actually who they are. So, The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 has a lot going for it, and also, unfortunately, a big thing missing from it, because as you'll notice on this poster, again, just take my word that who I point to is who they say they are, there is no Shayla on this poster, which truly breaks my heart. Minnie Mills announced the other day on Instagram, actually right before this poster came out, which probably they gave her a heads up that this was coming out, and she wasn't on it because she didn't film. And she was like, okay, well, I'll let people know. But Shayla's not going to be in season 2. And people were like, well, yeah, because it doesn't really take place in Cousins, so it makes sense that, like, Shayla's not there. But at the same time, Shayla is a original character to the series, so really, like, if they wanted her, they could have brought her back. And it makes me sad that they didn't bring her back because I actually love Shayla. I don't love Shayla and Steven together, but that's more of a Steven thing. I'm also kind of surprised they're not bringing her back, especially considering how far her and Steven's relationship was developed in the first season. They were already saying I love you to each other by the end of it and had gone through a bunch of ups and downs. So I'm sad. Minnie Mills, justice for you, honestly, because I really hope she comes back and I hope they see how much we miss her. I'm just shocked she's not there in the first place, though. So that's like the big thing right now. The second thing is this poster is so cute. It's got a minimalist summer vibe to it. I was looking at the poster for season 1 and it's very similar. I think it works well with that whole kind of vibe that it's got going on of just like a carefree summer, and I'm very glad that they were able to make this season happen so quickly that we're able to get it again in the summer, because I definitely think it's a summer shell. Like, I don't know if it would hit the same itch if it came out in like winter or fall or something. But compared to the season 1 poster, I do have to say this to me feels like a very different summer day. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like season 1 poster felt like original to when it came out, which was like July or June, right? It felt like that, like, just like middle of summer kind of, everyone's in the pool, 4th of July, all that stuff, and it makes sense because that's when the majority of the season took place. This, on the other hand, to me, weirdly enough, and I know this is going to sound conflicting, but it feels like either early spring, so I'm talking like May, Memorial Day into June, or what I'm guessing it's going to be, late spring, so like all my folklore besties rise up, because this is what August by Taylor Swift is about. This entire feeling, like, you can just feel the summer air, you can feel it, it's like sticky, but like it's getting like nicer at night and stuff like that. So I feel like we don't have an official date for it yet, but I do feel like the poster gives me more Augusty vibes, so we'll have to see when it comes out. The second thing that made me really want to dissect this poster was, and people have rightfully pointed this out, I'm not the first one to come up with this idea, but everyone except Belly is looking at a certain person, and it's very much probably going to be a clue of what the relationships and the entanglements will be like this season. So I wanted to really dissect and get into that and see what we could possibly glean from that. Now, disclaimer before I get into this, I have not read any of the Summer I Turned Pretty books. I didn't want to spoil myself for season 1 before I watched it, so I made the conscious choice not to read it. I actually just bought it at Target, weirdly enough, which is also probably why this is on my brain. I just bought the first book and I was like, I can read it now. I'm gonna do the same thing and not read the second book till the season comes out. Probably, unless it gets to like August 31st and I'm a weak person and I'm like, I have to read it. But from what I could read of the synopsis, and I didn't want to go too much into it, but this is the book synopsis. They haven't given us the season synopsis yet. But basically, it's Belly and Conrad are in a relationship after everything that happened in season 1, and he and Jeremiah are still dealing with the fallout from finding out about their mom. Obviously, Conrad knew for a bit longer, but they're dealing with all of that stuff. So Conrad apparently goes missing at the beach house or something like that, like just disappears for a minute, like dips, and Jeremiah and Belly have to go on a road trip together to try and find him. And it said, I kid you not, the quote that I read said, her feelings for Jeremiah start to develop more, while she also gets stronger feelings of love for his brother. Not her brother, that would be bad. For his brother. So I'm like, literally, the girl's falling in love with each of them more and more, which is very interesting. But yeah, Belly, obviously, she also has shades on, which is very interesting because it's like her gaze is hidden from us. But she is, I think, very clearly tilted towards the camera, but I could see where, because she has shades on, you could be like, oh, maybe she's side-eyeing Jeremiah, or maybe she's like rolling her eyes back, which mightily impressive, but maybe she's rolling her eyes back at Conrad. I don't think there's any chance she's looking at Cam Cameron. I'm very sorry to say. Now, the interesting thing for this is, like, we do have our physical kind of triangle. If you were to get a red pen out, you could definitely draw and see where Jeremiah, all he has eyes for is Belly, of course. Conrad, he's watching Belly, but I feel like he's also kind of side-eyeing Jeremiah and Belly's relationship, which I think is like a big component of him. And whereas Jeremiah looks just extremely happy to be in Belly's presence, Conrad looks a little iffy about the whole thing going on with his brother and his potential girlfriend crush, I guess, right? Which I would be too if I were him. Now, my main man, Cam Cameron, on the other hand, he has eyes for Taylor, which is very interesting because they met, I think, briefly in season 1, but nothing really came of it because obviously he was in love with Belly. So I think that'll be interesting if that is developed more, and I'm super excited to see him back. But again, like Cam Cameron over Shayla, interesting choice. And then Steven, the interesting thing, since we know Shayla isn't in it, is looking at Taylor, who, if you watch season 1, you know they shared a intimate kiss that was unfortunately a result in cheating on Shayla, and they both kind of swore that like it meant nothing, blah blah blah, it was a mistake. But we do know that Taylor has been in love with him for a while now, and Belly's kind of known about it but been ignoring it, as has Steven. So it'll be interesting to see if they develop more, and also how they explain away Shayla not being there. I'm interested to see that because, like I said, they ended the relationship on a pretty good note at the end of the season, so it'll be interesting to see that. Then this character is actually a new character named Sky. She is original from the show. She's not from the book, so they made her for the show. She's played by Elsie Fisher, which I think is so funny that they hired an actor with the Fisher last name in real life when these are the Fisher brothers. I think that's so funny. But she's from 8th grade, I think, was her big breakout thing. I haven't seen it, but I know people love her in that, and she's a really talented actress. If you will see, though, and this is what definitely piqued my interest, they are looking directly at Mr. Jeremiah, which is so funny. I'm really excited to see Jeremiah develop a new love interest outside of Belly. I think it'll be cool to see. One of the really cool things that they did in updating the book series was they made 2 significant changes when they adapted it for a TV series, and that was making Belly a character of color. She was white in the books, and also making Jeremiah bisexual. So it's really awesome to see like a main character and also like the main romantic love interest who is bisexual. So we kind of got to see him sleeping around a bit in season 1 before really honing in on Belly, and it'll be interesting to see how this kiss between Conrad and Belly affects him, and if he's just going to be like a mopey little moody boy and then Sky has to kind of break him out of that, or if like Sky is just a friend that then starts to develop into something more. They could also have another love interest, but again, I'm going by the eyeline theory, and they are looking directly at Jeremiah. It doesn't bode well that Jeremiah is not giving them a second chance, but I think what's also really interesting from this is that no one is looking at Conrad. Again, theoretically, Belly could be if her eyes rolled back in her head, which isn't impossible, but I feel like it definitely shows that Conrad, out of all of this, kind of feels like he's on the outs. He's the only one that doesn't seem like happy or relaxed. He's got kind of like a snarl on his face, and I feel like everyone else just seems so much more together in a way, and like kind of looking at each other, looking at someone. Taylor's kind of side-eyeing both Steven and Cam Cameron, which I love that for her. Conrad just feels out of the bunch. Like it feels like it's only Belly that he really has eyes for, but also is watching this relationship develop and is just not happy, and I think that's gonna probably lead more to his state of mind. I do hope we get to see a happier Conrad than we did in season 1, because he was keeping a lot from everyone, obviously, so he was quite upset, and understandably so. However, I just don't want this to again lead into a miscommunication trope and everything like that. I don't know if they'll officially be a couple like they were at the start of book 2. I kind of think they won't be. I think that would be too easy, honestly, to have them be together already, especially after how long we had to wait even just for a first kiss in the first season. I feel like they're really going to make us work for it and buy into this whole, like, who's happening, who's looking at who. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a really great season. I'm feeling like the vibes already are so much more different. Like, it feels like more of a cast ensemble this season, and like I said, just a different summertime vibe. Again, if you know anything from folklore, Betty, all that, like, I feel like that's what's going to be the the Taylor Swift to this season, whereas like This Love and all that was the soundtrack to season 1. This is going to be more of the like grown-up adult kind of stuff because they are growing up and everything, and yeah, I'm just excited to see what it's going to be like. So yeah, if you have seen the poster, again, maybe look it up if you haven't already, because I know this is tiny and it was the best I could do without just decimating my family's ink supply. So yeah, I did what I could. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the new characters, who people are eyeing, who they could potentially be hiding or stuff like that, and what you're looking forward to seeing most in season 2. So yeah, leave that all down below in the comments, and hopefully we'll get a trailer or a release date soon, and then we can go back and dissect all that all over again. See you guys next time. Bye!